As a first-generation college student, how has that status, that identity helped you?
I come from parents that have no education, and their struggles of not being educated have given me that motivation to succeed and to better myself. My parents have always had the drive to work hard and to provide. They transferred hard work and ethics to me, and now I'm transferring educational knowledge to my daughter, to fall in love with what they want to do.
Hello, I'm Edward Pollard, Faculty Director of Retention Services, Tutoring and Academic Support Center at MiraCosta College. The ethos in our department is really to meet the student where they're at. So that could be a student who has never gone to college before, first generation. It's a daunting task because there is no one to really go to in the family structure. And so in essence, MiraCosta becomes that family member for that student.
My resilience comes from my parents who migrated to this country so my sisters and I could have better educational opportunities. I'm a proud first-generation college student.
I understand my sense of resiliency and have learned it from my parents who taught me a strong work ethic and who also modeled a strong sense of cultural identity.
So Cristobal Orozco, or Chris as we call him here, is a perfect poster student, if you will, because he's a re-entry student, meaning he's older. And MiraCosta had exactly what he needed, which was an auto technology program.
That's the one I learned how to drive. It's got a granny gear, so you have to start it off in second gear. You don't start off in first gear.
How old were you?
I was 15 years old when I started driving that truck. I took apart the hood, and actually the motor's about to come out. I want to put a different motor in it, a bigger one. I love automotive industry. It's something that I've always been passionate about. When I went into an interview for a really good job, I had no resume, but I had a lot of experience. The gentleman that interviewed, he said, you know what, I really want to pick you, but I can't. When I heard that, it hit me hard. I felt like a failure. It made me feel like all the hard work and all the struggles of beating my knuckles, working late on cars, failing at fixing cars, and then being able to fix them again. I felt like all those things were for nothing. I was lost. I had no care for anything. And I realized that I want to do something in my field, and I want to be able to feel validated in the things that I love. So that's what really decided me to want to come back into school. Being a first-generation student, I felt that I've never fit in anywhere. I always had that little voice always telling me, you can't do this, what are you doing, you're a failure. And I've always felt that way. But it was something I needed to do, it was good.
My resilience comes from the hardworking people I have lived among my entire life. I teach to encourage students to recognize their self-worth.
My resilience comes from changing the life of my students on a daily basis who serve their community for the betterment of the world.
So Chris is a resident of Fallbrook. His family grew up there. They're immigrants from Mexico who came over to find a better life. He then grew up in Fallbrook in a good family, but was susceptible to all the vices that kids grow up in a community that is lacking resources.
So this is the trailer where I grew up in. A lot of kids, we all grew up together and making bad decisions. It's a friendly village, but very segregated. The nearest park for this area is more than a mile away. So kids don't have anywhere to play here. And I didn't move out until after my first year of high school.
My resilience comes from my mother, who came out of domestic violence when she was 19 with 4 young children.
And my resilience comes from watching my single-parent mom raise 4 kids on a minimum wage salary. Remember, the word impossible just says, I'm possible.
He's lived in many parts of North County. Vista is his most recent.
Hi, we're in Vista, California, right next to the Vista Transit Center. I lived here since late 2016. For 3 years I lived here. I moved in because it's very affordable, and my first impression when I moved here is I'm back in the hood. I'm back where I was raised. We had issues with, people getting murdered in broad daylight, people getting stabbed, or even dogs running loose and biting, so I didn't even feel good walking my dog. Finally decided to move because our daughter was getting too big and we needed more space, and we got tired of all the trouble that was here in this neighborhood.
My resilience comes from my mother, who immigrated here from the Philippines and raised me to be the man that I am today. So remember that you're not just doing it for you, you're doing it for them.
My resilience stems from the immigrant experience of my parents and their work ethic. That transcends to me wanting to excel in the things I pursue.
My dad's a garbage man, right? But he's the smartest person I've ever known. He taught me how to be a man, how to be, responsible with myself. So the way that I'm gonna do my education now is cater to my family. I wanted to save my body for them. I see myself in the educational field. Automotive will leave you with your arms tired at the end of the day. So that's why I came back to school, because I realized being a teacher, you don't have to utilize more of your body in the automotive setting.
The love for teaching, he's growing that here as a tutor. He's our first auto tech tutor ever. He's also an academic success coach because he's going through the similar things that students from first-generation college backgrounds are experiencing.
I get my resilience from my parents. Both instilled in me values that helped me in my journey to get me where I am today, such as hard work, dedication, and never forgetting where you come from.
My resilience comes from growing up in public housing, being the first in my family to go to college. What you put in is what you get out.
The most successful experience that I've had here at MiraCosta has been my internship. The co-teaching internship I did with one of my mentors, Arnaldo Williams.
I think he identified with myself and he saw that I was willing to help him to achieve what he wanted to do. And I think he chose me as his mentor.
Because you knew that I was here for a resume.
Yeah.
And I told you, like, hey, I'm here for a resume. But then you're like, what do you want out of it? How are you gonna do it? ¿Cómo lo vas a hacer?
You were there willing to open your mind and put yourself out there for growth and willing to take it. I didn't see it as a negative. And not only you were able to realize, but you also took action.
I knew that you didn't just want to set up a banner for me and say, success for Chris. You were like, hey man, you can do it, but you gotta do the work, And that's what I've been doing.
You can see the satisfaction on his face when he helps students. You can see that he enjoys it. That's something important, you have to love what you do.
What has been one of the most challenging obstacles for you?
I'm an older student. I've already worked in the field where I'm passionate about. It's hard to juggle because I have to provide for my children and I have to come to class, which that takes away from me being able to work.
Why is it the funnest part? Because you have lots of friends at school? Yeah, who are your friends? Oh, Jameson, I do remember Jameson.
I love my daughters. They're my world, they're everything. I wake up every day and I do everything to better myself so I can transfer it to them. It's difficult because I want to spend time with them, but yet I have to spend time, study. You have to take into consideration everything that you do. The responsibilities that I have in my life, I'm very grateful for them because they've grounded me. I can't just make a decision for myself. I have to decide for everybody.
What would you share with other first-generation college students who are new? What would you want to ask them?
What do you want for yourself? Because this isn't something that you can be given. This isn't something that you could take from somebody else. This is something that you have to earn for yourself of wanting to be here. I've been lucky enough to open myself up to a lot of faculty and a lot of staff that have been able to guide me through my experience here.
I don't see you as a mentor, mentee, or student or anything. You're my friend.
Yeah, no, thank you. I see the same thing too.
Yeah.
You showed me that this is the right steps and this is the right thing to do. It's getting me to where I want to go. It's making me become who I want to become. Because of the education that I'm obtaining, I'm becoming a better father, a better employee, a better husband, a better son. It's given me educational gains, which transfers to every aspect of my life.
I get my resilience from my parents who survived war and laid the path for me with a can-do attitude and a positive attitude that nothing can stop me in my way as long as I work hard.
Echarle ganas.
What does that mean?
Always put effort into things that you love. If I didn't love myself and wanted to educate myself, I wouldn't put the effort into it. Echarle ganas is something that I always tell myself, and it's something that my parents instilled in me and have always told me, and I always see something that is great because of how I was brought up and where I come from.
We have an enormous amount of empathy in our college for students because of the care for students, the student friendliness, and also the stellar faculty that we have from many diverse viewpoints and perspectives. So students here get to realize their dreams. If they meet us halfway, then we will walk together down that aisle of success.